Welcome to this in-depth summary of The Mountain Is You, Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery by Brianna Wiest. If you've ever felt stuck, like there's an invisible force holding you back from the life you truly desire, this book is your roadmap to freedom. Brianna Wiest, a brilliant writer known for her profound insights into personal growth, takes us on a transformative journey. She uses the metaphor of a mountain not as an obstacle to conquer externally, but as the internal barriers we build through self-sabotage. Think of this as your guided tour up the mountain, engaging, informative, and empowering. We'll explore how self-sabotage isn't about hating yourself but fulfilling unconscious needs, how triggers point to healing, and how to build emotional intelligence for lasting change. Whether you're listening during a commute, workout, or quiet evening, let this summary inspire you to face your own mountain. Remember, as Brianna says, the mountain isn't something to master. It's yourself. Let's begin with the introduction. The introduction sets the stage beautifully, comparing life's challenges to nature's processes. Just as forest fires clear the way for new growth or stars implode before becoming supernovas, our personal breakdowns are often breakthroughs in disguise. Brianna explains that life works in our favor, even when it feels like adversity. Our minds undergo positive disintegration, releasing old self-concepts to make room for renewal. She introduces the mountain as a metaphor for spiritual awakenings and personal growth, insurmountable at first glance but full of inherent wisdom. Humans are meant to grow, just like everything in nature. Species evolve, the universe expands, and we expand inwardly through facing problems as catalysts. Your mountain arises from conflicting needs, the conscious desire for change and the unconscious holdbacks. It's not a sign of failure but of human imperfection, which allows growth. Imperfection creates potential. Without it, nothing would evolve. Brianna notes that circumstantial problems reflect life, but chronic ones reflect ourselves, built from accumulated traumas and coping mechanisms. The mountain blocks the life you want, but facing it leads to freedom. A trigger reveals a wound, which reveals your path, leading to destiny. This breaking point is the entry to breakthrough. Release your old self, mourn the younger version that got you here, and embody your future self. Learn agility, resilience, and self-understanding. In the end, mastering the mountain means mastering yourself. Chapter 1, The Mountain Is You. Moving into Chapter 1, Brianna dives deeper into the core idea. Nothing holds you back more than yourself. If there's a persistent gap between where you are and where you want to be, met with resistance, pain, or discomfort, self-sabotage is at play. On the surface, it seems like self-hatred or lack of willpower, but it's actually an unconscious need being met through sabotaging behaviors. Overcoming it requires psychological excavation, pinpointing traumas, releasing emotions, finding healthier need fulfillers, reinventing self-image, and developing emotional intelligence and resilience. Brianna emphasizes that self-sabotage is a coping mechanism that once served you but now hinders growth. It's not intentional harm but a misalignment between conscious goals and subconscious programming. She explores common forms like procrastination, which protects from fear of failure, or staying in toxic relationships due to familiarity. The key is recognizing that self-sabotage fulfills needs like safety or validation in distorted ways. To climb the mountain, become aware of patterns. Ask, what need is this behavior meeting? For example, overeating might soothe emotional pain, rooted in childhood neglect. Brianna shares that true change starts with self-compassion, not force. Force creates resistance. Understanding dissolves it. She discusses the role of the subconscious, where beliefs formed early dictate actions. If you believe you're unworthy, you'll sabotage success to confirm it. Practical steps include journaling triggers, meditating to observe thoughts, and seeking therapy for deep traumas. By the chapter's end, you're equipped to see self-sabotage not as an enemy but a misguided protector. This awareness is the first step up the mountain. Chapter 2. There's no such thing as self-sabotage. Chapter 2 might sound counterintuitive, but Brianna redefines it brilliantly. She argues that what we call self-sabotage isn't sabotage at all. It's a logical response to internal conflicts. When you habituate to certain behaviors, they become automatic. Sabotage happens when actions align with subconscious beliefs, not conscious desires. It's not self-destruction, it's self-preservation gone awry. For instance, If deep down you fear success will lead to loss of relationships, you'll sabotage opportunities to maintain connection. Brianna explains microshifts, small, daily changes that rewire habits. Instead of drastic overhauls, focus on one tiny adjustment, like drinking water before snacking to address emotional eating. She covers uprooting, constantly starting over without finishing, like job hopping to avoid vulnerability, or mental mastery illusions, where overthinking replaces action. Important point: principles over feelings. Feelings fluctuate, principles guide consistently. Define core values like integrity or growth and align actions to them. Brianna warns against logical lapses, like justifying inaction with excuses. Challenge them by asking, "Is this true or comforting?" She introduces psychic thinking, assuming others' thoughts, leading to isolation. Combat it with communication. The chapter guides you to see sabotage as adaptive behaviors outgrown. By understanding their origin, you can replace them with empowering ones, turning potential pitfalls into stepping stones. Chapter 3, Your triggers are the guides to your freedom. In Chapter 3, Brianna flips the script on triggers. Instead of avoiding them, embrace them as signposts to unhealed wounds. A trigger is an intense emotional reaction disproportionate to the event, revealing subconscious associations. For example, criticism might trigger abandonment fears from childhood. The key triggers show what needs healing. Ignoring them perpetuates cycles. Facing them brings freedom. Brianna outlines how to respond. Pause, breathe, identify the feeling, trace its root. Ask, "When did I first feel this way?" She discusses rock bottom as a foundation. When coping fails, true change begins. Important, jealousy as a map. What you envy reveals desires. Use it to clarify goals. Worrying well. Differentiate productive worry, planning, from unproductive, rumination. Channel worry into action. Brianna explains biases like confirmation bias, where you seek evidence for beliefs reinforcing sabotage. Practical tool, inner child work. Visualize comforting your younger self during triggers. By chapter's end, triggers transform from enemies to allies, guiding you toward emotional freedom and self-mastery. Chapter 4, Building Emotional Intelligence. Chapter 4 is the toolkit for self-mastery. Brianna defines emotional intelligence, EI, as recognizing, understanding, and managing emotions effectively. Self-sabotage stems from low EI. Suppressing feelings leads to explosions or implosions. Key components: self-awareness, knowing your emotions; self-regulation, managing them; motivation, using for goals; empathy, understanding others; social skills, building relationships. Brianna stresses validating feelings without acting on every impulse. Feelings aren't facts but data. Practical steps: name emotions precisely, for example, frustrated versus angry. Journal daily. What did I feel? Why? How did I respond? She covers resistance as fear of discomfort. Build tolerance by sitting with emotions mindfully. Important, logical versus emotional thinking. Balance both. Over-relying on one causes imbalance. Brianna introduces metacognition, thinking about thinking. Observe patterns like catastrophizing. To build EI, practice mindfulness, seek feedback, and role-play scenarios. This chapter empowers you to turn emotional chaos into clarity, essential for climbing beyond sabotage. Chapter 5, Releasing the Past. Chapter 5 focuses on letting go to move forward. Brianna explains we cling to past pains because they define identity or provide safety. Releasing isn't forgetting, it's integrating lessons without emotional charge. Key: forgiveness as freedom, not condoning. Forgive yourself and others to break chains. She discusses trauma bonds, attachment to pain sources. Heal by rewriting narratives. Practical timeline therapy. Map life events, identify patterns, reframe negatives as growth. Brianna warns of future faking, obsessing over hypotheticals to avoid present. Important, grief stages apply to change. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Build new neural pathways through repetition, affirmations, visualizations. The chapter guides you through rituals like letter writing, unsent, to release emotions. By releasing, you create space for the present, turning past weights into wisdom for your ascent. Chapter 6, Building a New Future. In Chapter 6, Brianna shifts to creation. With past released, envision and embody your desired life. Start with clarity. What do you truly want? Align with values, not societal expectations. She introduces future self-journaling. Write as if you're already there, feeling the emotions. Key habits as compound interest. Small daily actions build momentum. Brianna discusses resilience, bouncing back via mindset, see failures as feedback. Important, boundaries protect energy. Say no to misalignments. Practical vision boards, goal setting with SMART criteria, accountability partners. She covers intuition, gut feelings as subconscious wisdom. Honed by quieting mind. The chapter inspires action. Step into uncertainty. Trust the process. Building your future means becoming the hero who overcomes the mountain daily. Chapter 7, From Self-Sabotage to Self-Mastery. Chapter 7 ties it all together. Brianna recaps the journey. Awareness, understanding, healing, building. Self-mastery is ongoing. Living intentionally, responding versus reacting. Key integration. Apply EI, release past, build future consistently. She discusses peak experiences, moments of flow as glimpses of mastery. Important, community support. Surround with uplifting people. Practical, daily reviews, what worked, what to adjust. Brianna ends with empowerment. You are the mountain and the climber. Mastery comes from within. This chapter leaves you motivated, ready to live fully. And there you have it, the complete chapter-by-chapter summary of The Mountain Is You. We've journeyed from recognizing self-sabotage as a protector, through healing triggers and building emotional intelligence, to releasing the past and crafting a vibrant future. Brianna Wiest's words remind us, the greatest mastery is over ourselves. If this resonated, I encourage you to grab the full book for deeper dives and exercises. Apply one insight today. What's your mountain, and what's your first step? Thank you for joining this transformative experience. Remember, growth isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Keep climbing, your summit awaits. Until next time, take care and embrace your power. Goodbye.